A new name for yourself. Look at what has happened to Michael Perry. You know, one of our big stars here, the King of Violence. He titles himself, and you know he's had such a rise in the sport. Now he's up against you know, a little dweeb of a thing in a fight this weekend that we're all rooting for him.
In a recent Joe Rogan Experience episode, one of the most anticipated fights in combat sports was dissected by Joe Rogan. Joe versus Conor McGregor. Paul Rogan, who is renowned for his openness and extensive understanding of mixed martial arts, offered his insights on how the battle would unfold by evaluating the fighter's strengths and weaknesses.
And like, there's something about like calling somebody out, which you immediately respect them a little bit more, like willing to put yourself out there for a fight.
He called out Conor McGregor too.
That's what Jake's doing.
Yeah.
That kid is a master troll, dude. He's a master creating hype. Like, dude, if I'm Dana White, I'm praying that this guy can actually.
A Jake Paul Amanda Nunes boxing match.
That's because Dana said maybe I'll let Amanda Nunes knock him out.
I think people are coming around. I say, if this kid was not a YouTuber, if he wasn't some guy that you knew from the time he was like 16 years old on YouTube, and you just saw him box, and you saw him knock out former UFC champions, you saw him beat legitimate boxers, or beat athletes, and beat a bunch of MMA fighters, you'd go, this kid can fight. He knows how to fight. It's not, nothing he's doing looks wrong. He's not like sticking his head straight up in the air and winging punches with his eyes closed. He's fighting well. He looks good. And if he was just an up-and-coming boxer that was this exciting, like highly promotable, like really good at selling fights, you'd be like, this kid is the future
because he's exciting, highly marketable, and skilled at selling fights. However, one recent topic that has generated a lot of discussion is his examination of Conor McGregor's career path, specifically how McGregor's self-destructive behavior contributed to his decline as a fighter in a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience. Rogan blamed McGregor's demise on a mix of financial success, fame, and the accompanying self-destructive inclinations. I'm not sure whether Conor will ever fight again. I don't know the specifics of that case, but the fact is that he's partying hard and that he's out of it. Have you seen the interview between Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor for...
if Conor's ever going to fight again.
What's happening with his, the civil suit? He's being dropped by all his companies or something?
Yeah, you know, I don't know the real details of that case, but the reality is that guy's partying, and he's partying real hard.
Dude, some of his interviews, you can tell he is out of it. Have you seen the Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor interview for Roadhouse? And he's just tweaking the whole time?
He's
and
tweaking?
Jake's just like...
You know, it's funny, Shane Gillis has a great bit about Conor McGregor in Roadhouse. He goes, Conor McGregor basically played a c***ed-out Conor McGregor in Roadhouse.
He was a formidable opponent, renowned for his brash demeanor and captivating self-promotion. McGregor became a fan favorite very fast, but his performance inside the cage was much more captivating than his personality. He should have killed me when he had the opportunity, because now that I'm back, I'm going to kill you and your entire crew. The Octagon cemented his position in MMA history, maybe the most significant fight of your career.
Perhaps the most important fight of your career! Give us your thoughts on this rematch! He should have killed me when he had the chance, because now I'm back and I'm gonna kill you and your whole f***ing team! You and their kids! I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody! The double champ does what the f*** he wants! What I dreamed into reality.
UFC 205 in 2016, becoming the first fighter in UFC history to hold 2 titles in different weight classes simultaneously, followed his ascent to the top. I'm your father, I'm your daddy, call me Jose Senor, tell him I'm his daddy, and I really don't care, like he can do whatever he wants, and I'll continue to be the champion. McGregor seemed to be unstoppable and on the verge of becoming the greatest fighter in MMA history. I said,
I'm your father, I'm your daddy, eh? Call me Jose Senior. Tell him I'm his daddy. Tell him I'm his daddy.
I really don't care. Like, he can do whatever he wants, and I'll continue to be the champion.
He said, tell him he's his daddy.
Tell him I said I am his daddy.
Ele tá falando que ele é seu pai.
Nunca vai ser.
Sit on my lap.
Nunca vai ser. Tá mais fácil.
Sit on my lap.
Eu domino.
Sit on my lap.
The thing is this. When you knock a champion who's been that dominant and that good for 10 years out in 14 seconds, 13. There is a question, which is, was that in some ways a...
Videos later when they're shooting off use AK-4, was crazy. A lot of people got involved, and then a lot of other people joined in.
Dylan Dennis is a professional fighter. He's a professional fighter. He jumps out. He takes a swing at him. They're screaming, and Dylan's like, "Fuck you," and he's like, "Fuck you," and there's a bunch of people get involved, and then a bunch of other people jump in. The whole thing was nuts. But the idea that we should be shocked after him throwing a dolly at a bus because Khabib's on the bus, those Russians don't fucking play like that, man.
Yeah. Did you see the videos afterwards in Dagestan where they're shooting off the Uzis and AK?
Who accused the mixed martial arts fighter Conor McGregor of raping her in a hotel in Dublin 6 years ago, has won a civil case against him. The jury has found McGregor liable and ordered him to pay Nikita Hand €250,000 in damages.
According to the woman's attorney, she was watching Game 4 of the finals on Friday, June 9th, when the alleged event occurred. She said that security personnel from the NBA and before Mr. McGregor brutally attacked the
UFC fighter Conor McGregor has been accused of sexually assaulting a woman after an NBA basketball game in Miami earlier this month. A legal letter outlining the allegations was sent to Mr. McGregor and seen by BBC News. It says the alleged assault took place in a bathroom at an arena in Miami. The woman's lawyer said she'd been watching Game 4 of the finals on Friday the 9th of June before the alleged incident happened. She alleged the woman was forced into a men's bathroom by security guards from the NBA and Miami Heat before being violently assaulted by Mr. McGregor. A lawyer representing Mr. McGregor said, "The allegations are false. Mr. McGregor will not be intimidated." Both the City of Miami Police and the Miami Heat, which hosted the NBA Finals game, say that they are conducting investigations.
Chandler, you said good match for Conor. Is that ever happening? Or
I don't know if Conor's ever going to fight again.
what's happening with his he just got like the civil suit or whatever, and he's being dropped by all his companies or something.
Yeah. I don't know the real details of that case. I know his version of it and her version of it and what played out in the court. But the reality is that guy's partying, and he's partying real hard. And he talked about it in the court case. He's talking about cocaine. Like that was the whole thing, that we're all doing cocaine and
I want to bring everyone in here because I love them all. He wants to be on the boxing RS and wants to fight, but he doesn't want to fight. Jake Paul, meanwhile, is an example of a more recent generation of combat sports performers who first rose to fame as
How much money could you reasonably walk out of this fight with?
$350 million.
$350 million.
Yes.
Floyd's not ready for this. Much respect to Floyd. He's a solid businessman. What he has been able to do, he is a full animal at what he has been able to do. But as far as real fighting, as far as true, pure, unarmed combat, Floyd don't want none of this. I say he does not want none of this. People won't even ask him. He wants it under boxing rules. He wants a boxing match. He doesn't want to fight. So I want to respect everyone in here. I love everyone is. Give Floyd a shout time on
this YouTuber. He would have just been a boxer, and you witness a boxer defeat the former UFC welterweight champion, not just the former, but one of the greatest ever, with a single blow like that. Oh my God, have you seen this Jake Paul guy?
I think he's like any other young up-and-coming boxer. It's just everybody dismisses him because he's a YouTuber.
For sure. It's easy to dismiss him, but I was there when he knocked out Tyron, and I was like, man, I'm done with this kid. I never wanted to corner another fight in my life, man. I was like, yo, he just knocked my boy flat out on his face, man. I was heartbroken.
Bro, he has power. It's real power.
DC says. But after that leg kick, he kind of reached down to grab the foot and threw an uppercut, and I was switch stand, so I threw across from my back, and that clipped him good, and that's when he took the step back and was hurt. I believe that
Paul wasn't Jake Paul. If he wasn't this YouTube guy, he was just a boxer. And you see a boxer knock out the former UFC welterweight champion, not just the former, but one of the best ever. Knock him out with one punch like that. You're like, oh man, have you seen this Jake Paul dude coming up? He's for real. Because nothing about watching him fight screams like he's in over his head. If he wasn't that big YouTube star, he'd be like, that dude's got dynamite.
It is, but I see a lot of people talking funny stuff about like the leg kick didn't knock him out. What happened? So DC says in the detailed breakdown, I kick Conor's calf and Conor steps back and his leg kind of goes, and DC says, well, that's the leg kick that hurt his leg or whatever. But when he went after that leg kick, he kind of reached down to grab the foot and threw an uppercut. and I was switch stance, so I threw a cross from my backhand that clipped him good. And that's when he took the step back and was hurt. I think that's a detail people are missing, that right hand.
Well, you landed a lot of solid shots in that fight, but there's no doubt that leg kick was fucking that right leg up.
KSI fights Tommy and he's going to be knocked out, so I suppose it's all in the air time. Jake Paul made the call-out video and disrespected Conor McGregor.